Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
All right, you've had a month now, and you still haven't found it. What are you out there doing right now? Are you even listening to the clues? Do you want to win the KOs or not? Listen to the Mix FM. JJ, gosh, tell them what they got to do, man, because obviously they aren't doing it right.
You got to be listening for the clues again each weekday morning when you wake up bright and early at 6 a.m. Matt and the morning crew, they'll have that clue first thing for you bright and early each weekday morning. Again, go out and find that key packet. We stashed it good somewhere across southern Ohio. We're not saying where. You just got to listen for the clues. And again, when you think you know where it's at, go find that key packet. Stop by our Total Media Studios at the Stockmeister Plaza on Main Street in Jackson. Turn it in, and you're going to write off on a KO Predator 125 or a KO Storm 150 from your friends at Honda Suzuki Polaris K&M of Jackson and Total Media.
Better hurry, or it's going to be well used.
No, I take umbrage with your statement.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're in an argument. We're in a heated argument here.
Well, all right. So want to get right into it?
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, welcome to the morning show. We're in a
show.
great big fight this morning.
Well, it's not a great big fight. So we're talking about ghost kitchens.
Yes.
And so what is your experience with this? Because I think maybe we're talking about two slightly different things.
Well, I look at like a ghost kitchen as for example, the brewery. Take the brewery.
Okay.
We're not open on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, a ghost kitchen is somebody comes in on a Monday when the brewery's not open, takes over the kitchen, does their own thing on a Monday when we're not open, and utilizes that space. So to me, ghost kitchens are like, a lot of people can't afford to open a brick and mortar store right away, right? So, and put in a kitchen and do all the things that are needed because it's super duper expensive and there's all kind of, licensing and all that stuff. So they go to kitchens that aren't being utilized that day or that hour or whatever, and cook the food, serve it out of a space that would typically serve something else.
Yeah. So I don't know that all of these places are necessarily places that are not open at certain times.
Yeah, so that's where I got confused.
So a lot of so just for example, we're really getting into it. So for those that
we need to back up a little bit.
So for those that aren't familiar, this really kind of became popular during the pandemic.
It did.
The concept of what's called a ghost kitchen. And what this is basically a lot of them are kind of novelty restaurant brands that don't have their own location or are just out of like a commercial kitchen that doesn't have a traditional storefront. And it's really about the branding. And what we got talking about this is Dylan recently went to one in Columbus called Mr. Beast Burger, which is like a hamburger place named after a YouTuber. And they are serving this novelty YouTuber food out of nice Italian restaurants.
Okay.
So in the case of Mr. Beast Burger, they use the kitchens Bupa di Beppo, Bertoli's, and Bravo. Okay. So I'm guessing the one in Columbus is probably a Bravo.
All of those places are in Columbus.
All of those places are in Columbus?
Well, I don't know about Bertoli's, but I know Buca is downtown, and Bravo, there's a couple locations there.
So, Dylan, when you went, what day and time did you go to Mr. Beast Burger? It was a Saturday?
I believe so, yeah.
And were they only open on Saturdays or?
No, I think they had like customers going in, like trying to get tables and stuff as we came in and got it.
So wait, where did you go? Like, what physical location did you go to?
I'm not really sure what it was called. I was really just following a map that said Mr. Beast Burger up ahead, and then I looked up and I was like, oh, this does not say Mr. Beast Burger.
So, was it a like restaurant called something else that you went into?
Yeah.
And were they open like as the normal restaurant?
So the Bupa de Beppo in Columbus is open every day.
Yeah.
On Saturday, it's open from 11 to 11. Mm-hmm. So they were almost certainly operating their regular kitchen at the same time they were making Mr. Beast Burgers.
So I've never heard of that, I guess, is my point.
I think that is the most common. From what I understand, that is how most of these places work. Mm-hmm. Is it's the same kitchen staff preparing the food for both things.
Okay. Never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, it's my understanding that's the way the majority of these places work, and that's the criticism of them too, that they're essentially making kitchen workers
double duty.
Cook for two separate restaurants.
Yeah. So I don't really understand that. I understand someone borrowing someone else's kitchen. Mm-hmm. That makes total sense because it's not being used that day.
Right. But
like bring
and during
do your own thing.
Yeah, and during COVID, I think it was a little bit more of that.
It was a lot of that.
Because places like Bupa de Beppo were dine-in restaurants were not doing carry out or delivery, things like that. So it made sense for these places to kind of move in and use the kitchens that weren't being used. But I think it has evolved into more just these people having to do twice as much work.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, so for example, here's a couple that are operated outside of Denny's, the Burger Den and Meltdown. Denny's is basically a 24-hour chain.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that are operated at TGI Fridays. Cosmic Wings is operated outside of Applebee's. O'Charlie's has them. Red Robin's has them. Chili's has them. Even Chuck E. Cheese has them.
Weird.
Yeah. So a lot of these are like named after celebrities. Like Mr. Beast Burger is probably the most notable one. I don't really know much about Mr. Beast. Do you want to explain who Mr. Beast is? I just know he's a YouTuber, and I think he does like, I don't know. I think he gives stuff away, right?
Yeah, so Mr. Beast was originally just like a normal YouTuber. He was like saying the alphabet 30 times on a YouTube video, and people would be like, oh, this is funny, so they'd watch. And then he slowly gained some popularity. And once he had some popularity and some money, he started doing bigger things. So instead of counting the alphabet, it was like buying like 10 cases of cereal and then eating all of it. Just like weird things like that. And then when he gained even more money, he started doing bigger things, like Last to Leave the Circle gains $100,000. And then he like started going like crazy big, like I offered a man to stay in a house for 3 months, and if he lasts, he gets like $5 million. So it was just like bigger and bigger. And then once he had a bunch of money, he started doing charity work. So he would like give out money and like host like food like places, whatever it's called. I forget the name of it, like a warehouse that has a bunch of food in it, and you like distribute it to different homeless shelters.
Oh, yeah.
And then he made a burger place, Mr. Beast Burger. And then a candy bar place, Feastables, that's like in Walmart, and now Feastable Cookies. He's kind of becoming like a big brand.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of these are done by a company called Virtual Dining Concepts.
Okay.
And so what they do is they partner with these celebrities and come up with these sort of easy to prepare meals that are sort of carry out, delivery friendly, and then they find existing restaurants to let them use to produce this stuff.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of them. Yeah. But it's a weird thing. I mean, we don't really have them here in Appalachia so much.
No.
But other places, this has become really common over the last few years.
Well, we did a little bit of that at the brewery, and it was kind of popular for a minute, but then it became so much work, we stopped doing it, where when we had Archinetti's and the brewery, and Archinetti's wasn't open on Sunday, but the brewery didn't have, per se, a full kitchen. We did a couple of what we called pop-ups, where we would go over and cook like some really cool, like we did Jamie called it Chicky Pow Pow or something. And it was like all like a chicken concept that day. We did all this chicken stuff out of the Archinetti's kitchen, but served it at the brewery because the brewery's open on Sunday. So Those pop-ups
Chicky,
are kind
pow,
of
pow.
chicky
I'm into
pow
that.
pow. Yeah. And we did a smash burger one day too. But anyway, so yeah, I guess you've got like different takes on that kind of situation, but it makes a lot of sense for people to come in and, if a kitchen isn't being utilized that day, why not?
Yeah.
But
here,
I don't
Jen,
know about making the staff.
So right here, I can sign your. Well, you don't really have a full kitchen right now, but I could sign the 6 Cents food cart up to be a virtual dining concepts kitchen today.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So you could serve Buddy something cake slice, Faz Stubbs, Guy Fieri's Flavor Town, Lanky Box Kitchen, Morals Cookies, Mario Lopez has one.
You can't pronounce
Mario's Torres Lopez Sandwiches and Bowls, Mr. Beast Burger, NASCAR Refuel, Pardon My Cheesesteak, Robert Irvin's American Heroes, the Real House Bowls, and Creator's Kitchen. So these are all the ghost kitchens that you could sign your restaurant up to be a kitchen for through virtual dining concepts.
That's what you need to do is definitely put more stuff on your staff.
So their catchphrase is more money, more sales, same kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have 2,000 locations. Their app's been downloaded 3 million plus times, and they're in 6 countries.
Nice.
Oh.
Well, how did you find this, Dylan? This is what I'm interested in. Like, how did you know that Mr. Beast Burger is wherever?
So I had been following Mr. Beast Burgers from the second he said he was going to do them, and I had always wanted one. And I kept checking the locations through their website, MrBeastBurger.com, and it said like there was none in my area. And I don't know how it happened, but one day one just popped up nearby, and it was that one. So when I went up to a hospital visit one day, I just swung by, and there it was.
Do you remember what road it was?
Yeah, like where in Columbus were you?
There are several in the Columbus area, actually. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But does it happen all the time? That's why I guess.
I think it's pretty regular. I mean, I think these things change fairly often because you saw how many different brands there were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for the ones that become popular, like I said, Mr. Beast Burger has kind of been the most successful of this sort of thing. Yeah. So it looks like this one is maybe inside of a hotel, Sonasta Columbus Downtown. I think that's a hotel. Yeah. So yeah. So. Yeah.
I wonder how the logistics of that works. Like, is the restaurant responsible for? I mean, is it just they're just using the name and they get all the money and everything too, or how
I mean, I'm sure that there's some kind of licensing.
I wonder how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it seems to me if you're a restaurant, you're going to do that. That means that you're not busy enough.
True.
Right? Like, because why, if you were super busy, would you add on more stuff?
Yeah.
But I know, so here's an interesting
thing. This one is in Abuca de Beppo.
Okay.
So it just gives you the addresses for where these Mr. Beast Burgers are.
What is the address?
So this one is 343 North Front Street.
Okay, so that's in the Arena District.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one I went to.
And so
right beside Nationwide Arena?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big arena?
Yeah, because it was like 10 minutes away from the Children's Hospital, so I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one's Abuco.
That would have been right.
Yeah. But there's one on Nationwide Boulevard. There's one on North Front Street. There's one on Olentangy River Road. Then there's one in Grove City. Then there's another one in Columbus on Morse Crossing. And then there's one in Hilliard.
Morse Crossing is Easton. Mm-hmm. See, I think Nationwide and Front Street, I'll bet that's the same place.
Maybe. I don't know. It's listed separately here.
I'll bet you those are, because Front Street and Nationwide are like right in the same spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're listed as separate locations.
Has anybody been to Wario's? Oh my God. If you go to Columbus, go to Wario's. If you like sandwiches,
Yeah. Well, this one on Morse Crossing.
it's right it's at Nationwide.
Yeah.
That's why I said that.
Well, this one at Morse Crossing looks like it is in a on the border Mexican grill and cantina.
Does that still exist on the border?
Well, it may only exist as a
Holy-
Mr. Beast Burger Ghost Kitchen. I don't know.
I didn't know that on the border was still a thing. We used to go there all the time when we lived in Columbus, but then they all closed.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they all closed, so maybe they didn't. Maybe there's one at Easton still.
I don't know. But then you mentioned this, so sort of adjacent to this, it's kind of similar, but not quite the same thing, is these pop-up restaurants.
Yeah.
And so that's become really popular too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little bit different. Most of those are moving into an empty space or a space that only is sort of short term.
Yes.
And they do, some of them last a long time because they've become so popular.
Correct.
There was one in Cincinnati that I thought was so cool called the Video Archive.
Uh-huh.
We talked about this before.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like-
think we talked about it off the air. Maybe.
So it was like you walk in and it looked like a 1980s, 1990s like video rental.
yeah, like a
And then,
Blockbuster
like
or something.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then it's got you freaking pull the tape off the counter, and opens a door like Scooby Doo, and the shelf with all the VHS tapes like opens up like a door.
So it's like a
and there's
speakeasy kind of thing.
And there's a speakeasy back there.
That's awesome.
And I don't know if it's still there, but it was for a long time. And then the company that owned that, I think it's all the same company. If I'm not, I apologize for lying. But they also own the Tokyo Kitty karaoke bar in downtown Columbus.
Yeah, that's Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cincinnati. And it's the one that will serve you with a little robot.
So there you go. All of these fun places
Yeah.
exist.
So, but I know one of these that I was familiar with that I think they did this in Columbus briefly. But so in Kevin Smith, he has the fast food chain Moobies.
Movies?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it is. It's sort of a parody of McDonald's,
Gotcha.
and so they open these restaurants as like a pop up kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's this whole like make it look just like the movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go in and pay $12 for a bad hamburger.
It's so funny how things catch on. And, you're right. During the pandemic, a lot of people did open up, pop-ups or ghost kitchens and whatever. And a lot of people, too, get started in a food truck. And then, it becomes like this cult following. And so they end up opening a brick and mortar or whatever.
Yeah. And I think that is the sort of like
Which is the great
glamorized
story.
version of this maybe, or the more like inspirational version of this story. And then like the more reality version of this is Mr. Beast Burger, that it's just some weird corporation that's
Yeah.
taking over these
Yeah.
and then putting a celebrity's face on it.
Yeah.
And kind of making it look like it was their idea, but it's really this big corporation
True.
that's forcing these kitchen workers.
The kitchen work to do
Yeah.
more than than they already are.
So so it's a really weird thing.
Yeah.
I think they're really weird, and I think it's interesting.
It's definitely interesting. Although maybe, you never know. The kitchen staff may be like, "Oh, cool, we get to cook something else
Yeah,
for a change."
Maybe.
I
And,
really wish Subway would do it. Mr. Beast Burger. That would be so awesome.
I mean, what do you need? What do you need to cook Mr. Beast Burger food?
Probably a
Everything
stove,
that
if we don't
Subway doesn't
that.
have.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
You need a grill.
yeah. I don't think
You
it would
need a deep
ever
fryer.
happen,
Yeah.
but it would be awesome.
You need two things.
You need
Subway
hoods,
has
you
neither
need
of them.
you need all of the things. You need gas. You need all of that. Yeah.
So what would you compare Mr. Beast Burger to? Was it more comparable to a fast food burger, or was it more comparable to like a steakhouse burger?
There
I'd
you
say
go.
a steakhouse burger. It
Yeah.
felt like I went to like an actual restaurant.
But you had to get it to go. You can't sit down in there and eat.
Yeah, you have to get it to go.
Was it like a smash burger where it was like thinner and smaller, or was it like a big like thick burger?
I think they're big old thick burgers.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like. Yeah, I would say it's a thick burger, but I got the double, so for me it was massive.
Okay.
That's not a good picture of it.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
look
not-
good at all.
Yeah.
That looks like it got hit by a car.
All right. So Yeah, so those look like smash burgers,
Yeah, those are smash burgers.
but does not look like what that other picture looked like.
No.
But anyway, I don't know. I just thought this was interesting, and we were
is.
kind of in the middle of it when we started,
Yeah,
so we just kind of went right into it.
You know, and I was telling you that, you know, the same thing happens kind of with breweries, like, you know, because obviously brewing equipment is super expensive. So there are brewers that have kind of gypsy brewing, if you will, where people will just go around and, you know, utilize someone else's equipment when they're not using it and brew and then, you know, produce the beer that way. And you're just utilizing other people's stuff because it's there and it's not being used at that moment.
Yeah.
So there was a brewer in Columbus, and I can't remember the guy's name, but they finally opened a brick and mortar, but it was called Nowhere in Particular, and he was kind of like a ghost there for a minute. Like people weren't sure who he was or where this beer was coming from, but it was really good. Yeah. And but he would just kind of gypsy brew, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
And it does make sense, you know, if you've got equipment or you've got a spot that's perhaps not being utilized. Now, there's a place in Athens. What's it called? The commissary kitchen.
I don't know.
Oh, AceNet?
I don't know.
Where it's basically just a commissary kitchen, like just a big commercial kitchen, and people come in and utilize it and make stuff.
Appalachian Center for Economic Networks.
Is that AceNet?
Yeah. Building networks, supporting innovation, collaboration with Appalachian, Ohio. I don't know if this is what you're talking about or not. Yeah, this is probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically a big kitchen where you can go in, use it, and you know, produce stuff. For example, like one of our regulars, Derek Allison, they have Farm on the Ridge. They raise hogs. So he would go there, make sausage, chorizo, things like that, and then sell it.
That's cool.
So, yeah. People make salsas and, you know, different sauces and all different kind of things out of there.
Athens Food Ventures Center.
Yeah.
All right. Available rental space. All right. Let's check this out.
So, again, if you need, you know, if you have an idea and you need to produce something, but don't have the means or the space to put in a kitchen.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. So do you know what today is? I'll give you a hint. It's just below Christmas in Cincinnati.
It's what? Huh?
Opening day.
It's
opening day.
Below Christmas. I'm thinking Christmas is a town. Okay.
Just south of Christmas, you know.
It is opening day.
Opening day.
Absolutely, for baseball.
Yes, Major League Baseball opening day. 2023 season kicks off. The Reds are playing the Pirates.
Is it at home?
It is at home. The Reds always start the season at home.
That's so cool.
For the longest time, the Reds always got the very first game of the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were the oldest team.
Oh, okay.
So that's not necessarily the case anymore, but they do pretty much always have opening day at home.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so the 2023 season kicks off today in Cincinnati against the Pirates. Game is at 4 o'clock. It will be on WYPC 105.3 and 1330 AM.
There you go.
Very exciting.
That is cool.
Yeah, a lot of young players with a lot of potential for the Reds. Had not a great year last year, but you know
this will be their year.
Well, they played well in 2020 in the weird COVID year. Jonathan India, of course, won Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
And then, well, I guess that was in 2021, which was still kind of a COVID year. But then last year they really struggled. But we talked about yesterday, Joey Votto starting the year still rehabbing an injury, not in rehab.
Not in rehab.
he is rehabbing after left shoulder surgery.
We kind of misspoke about that.
Yeah. But young players like Jonathan India and Tyler Stevens will be full go. Tyler Stevens had some injuries last year.
Okay.
Jonathan India struggled a little bit last year coming off that Rookie of the Year season. So very exciting. Of course, and they're playing the Pirates. And the big story this year for the Pirates, do you remember Andrew McCutcheon?
No.
So he was a big star for the Pirates,
Okay.
left in 2017, went and played in San Francisco, bounced around to one or two other teams, and now he's back in
in
Pittsburgh, where he
Cool.
started his career and where he's had his best seasons.
Awesome.
So I don't know if that means he's going to retire at the end of this year or not, but so that's an exciting thing for Pirates fans.
So are Reds games, do they get televised? And if they do, is it on one particular network or are they kind of all over the place?
So the Reds games are on Bally Sports Ohio unless it is nationally televised.
Bally Sports
Yeah, so it used to be
Ohio.
Fox Sports Ohio, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
rebranded to Bally Sports Ohio, which is the company that owns a lot of the casinos in Ohio.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what? So that was same as Fox Sports Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically the same network, just with a new name.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But the good news is if you don't have any of that, you can still listen on the radio.
Listen on the radio.
Or on your Total Media Radio
Now,
app, which is even cooler.
unfortunately, the Reds games are blacked out on the
Oh,
app.
no, they are
We're not-
on the app.
we're
That's
not-
right. I'm sorry.
We're not legally allowed to
Yeah.
stream MLB games on the radio.
Yeah,
When we
I
had
screwed
that,
that up.
Reds affiliate luncheon back in February,
Yes.
this was one of the things that they talked about. So currently, Spectrum XM has
Yes.
exclusive online.
Sirius XM.
Sirius XM, I
Yeah.
said Spectrum, has exclusive online radio broadcasting rights, but that contract is up I think at the end of this year.
Okay.
And that's something that's going to be renegotiated. It is a contract with Major League Baseball, not with individual teams. So that's a little bit of a catch.
Well, that's weird. The teams don't have any control over that.
Yeah,
that's
the teams
not
don't.
cool.
Yeah, the teams don't have from the way I understand it, the individual teams don't have that much say in this matter.
Okay.
And so a lot of the small market teams like Cincinnati recognize that local radio is really important to them, like broadening their fan base.
Sure.
As where like the Yankees, it's maybe a different story.
Yeah.
So they recognize that it's really important for local radio stations to be able to do this, and they're not the only team that's like that. I think they mentioned the Atlanta Braves and maybe the Milwaukee Brewers were other teams that were sort of leading this charge a little bit. These teams that rely on having a wide fan base and not just clumped in their metropolitan area realize that it's important, and it's something that they're kind of going to bat for, and hopefully that changes maybe after this year, but we'll just have to wait and see.
There you go.
Yeah.
That would be cool because you're right. Just as, small market radio stations, like we have here in our area are so important to the community. I feel like that is the same with these teams, that they can be more involved with the community if they could have more community outreach.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
Yeah. Of course, we got to have the Reds Caravan here in Jackson for the first time. It was
So cool.
Unfortunately was a private stop this year, but we hope that it will maybe get to be public next year.
Yeah.
The same thing with Athens. We got to put on the stop in Athens this year. The Reds have always stopped at Athens, but this was the first year that we got to be involved in it. And it was also private this year, despite the fact that it had been public in years past. So hopefully that will also be public again next year.
There you go.
So very cool. Very, very cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
So we were talking off the air, and I think Dylan was kind of being serious and kidding all at the same time. But, we were talking about the Cincinnati Reds. Like, what is what is a Red? How did they get their name? And what did you say? Was it the Red?
He thought the Red Sox and the Reds were the same
Red
thing.
Sox. And I was like, well, you're kind of right, because didn't the Cincinnati Reds get their names from the Red Stockings?
So give me just a second, and I'll give you the breakdown of it.
Okay.
But basically, the team was formed in 18. The origins. Hold on. Let me get this right. So I tell you. All right. So from 1866 to 1896. there is a team called the Red Stockings in Cincinnati.
Okay.
This was prior to the National League.
Okay.
So that team folded in 1896. In 1890, the Red Stockings left the American Association in 1890 to play in the National League. Okay, and then
It's been around that long.
yeah. I'm trying to get these dates right for you. But basically, that original team folded, and then a new team sort of started from that in like 1890 or whatever, 1911. So 1911, the modern teams. I don't. I'm not getting these dates quite right, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
So like in the mid 1860s, a team called the Cincinnati Red Stockings started.
Okay.
And that eventually evolved into the National League team, the Cincinnati Reds. Which has been ongoing ever since then.
So there is no real, the Reds doesn't mean anything other than it started as the Red Stockings. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then
is that offensive to someone?
Well, so red was a slang for communists. And
great.
So it was a little bit of a controversial name, like during World War II and stuff like that.
I could
and
see
they
that.
actually they worked more blue into their uniforms during that time. So yeah, so it was a little bit of a controversial name.
Isn't
at
that
one
crazy
point,
that
yeah.
like something as simple as the word red could be like
Well, yeah.
offensive?
Well,
You get, I guess I can understand why the Cleveland Indians or something would be, or, the Redskins or something like that, but
yeah.
that's cool.
So we've talked about it a little bit before. You got to board op Reds games back in the day and got to hear Marty and Joe talk off the cuff a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you have any other Reds memories? Do you have any memories of going to games with your dad or anything like that?
I remember specifically 2 Reds games.
Okay.
One when I was a little girl, and you mentioned my dad. So when we were young, or when I was young, there used to be a lot of trade out in radio. It's not as so much now.
Yeah.
There used to be tons of trade out. So I can remember being a little girl and Dad brought me, and then John Pelletier brought his kids, and they always traded out Reds tickets and Kings Island tickets for advertising and that kind of thing. So I remember being little, and I can remember going to this Reds game, and of course, I'm a little girl. I don't care about baseball. And I can remember because they must have been really, really bad that year.
Yeah.
And
Shocker.
And I can remember which is kind of ironic. Ryan Pelletier was supposed to be here on the program, got called out on a fire call, I think, so he could not be here today. But I remember him being there. But we were all little at the time, and all of them had gloves, like they were going to catch a ball. And I can remember Dad saying, "You may as well leave those in the trunk. You're not going to need them." And I can remember the game went on and on and on, and no one scored.
Yeah.
And it was just kept going into extra innings. And finally, we were like, "Can we please go?"
Yeah.
And we left. But then, the next day we stayed at the Kings Island Inn, and then we got to go to Kings Island and all that. And it was fun too. But I can remember that game like it was yesterday.
That's funny.
It was just so bad. But the coolest game that I was ever at, and I don't know if this record still stands or not, but Jamie and I went to a night game. It was a Friday or a Saturday in Cincinnati, and we were just sitting there, and home run, then another home run, then another home run. And literally we spent the entire time standing up going, woo! no, because
By
I
the end,
think
you were tired of it.
yes, I think so. It was announced during that game that it was the most home runs ever hit in like a baseball, like a professional baseball game. There was like 11 or something.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
It got to be insane. And I'm like, it was just fireworks. Like I'm sure people that weren't at the game were like, what is going on over there? Because
so have you ever heard the fireworks from Great America, or well, from any, I guess it was probably the same way with Riverfront Stadium. Have you ever heard those fireworks from on the other side of the river?
no.
It is scary.
I'll bet it
It
is.
is so loud.
Because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And it echoes over the water and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
But I will say that game, the Reds did end up winning that game and had like the most home runs or whatever in a game. And it was like just a really fun, cool game, to be part of.
So the most home runs in a game by a team was the Toronto Blue Jays in 1987 with 10.
10, okay.
Maybe it was most home runs by both teams.
Maybe. Like ever scored in a game. I don't know. It was something like that. But I mean, I feel like we just stood up the entire game. Like we were just like, whew.
So let's see if I can figure out what this. I don't know. I'm not finding.
So it is like though you're like, okay, so that happened and then the Reds won. I don't ever want to go to another game again because it's never going to get any better than that. You know what I mean?
Maybe
like
true.
It was fun. But there's been a lot of like Clippers games I've been to that have been fun. And we were at one over 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
And we didn't know but like the game ended. Good morning, Kathy from Columbus.
Good morning, Kathy.
Thanks for watching.
What's your favorite Cincinnati Reds memory?
Yeah, exactly. But it was like the game ended, the Clippers won at the last second, the whole stadium went black, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
and then they just had this like crazy, stupid fireworks show because it was 4th of July weekend, but we didn't know, so it was like a pleasant surprise.
Well, the Reds do a fireworks show, every Friday?
I think it's every
night?
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I think I went to the Reds for 4th of July one year.
Oh, really?
I think.
That would be fun.
I know we went to Star Wars firework night one time. That was like recently. So it's all about
So they have, like,
themes
themes.
and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, they've always got themed weekends and stuff. So we went to Star Wars fireworks night one time. That was fun. Trying to think what else like that I've seen. My sister, I missed this. So the Reds won the World Series in 1990.
Yes.
And their sort of like fight song that year was MC Hammer Can't Touch This. So a few years ago, there was the whatever anniversary of that team.
Yeah.
And they had MC Hammer do a concert after the game. So my sister went to the game.
Fun.
And then immediately after the game was MC Hammer concert. So she got to see MC Hammer in concert.
I wonder if he had his sweet pants on.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I
See, you're
think
too
he's
young to remember
contractually-
MC Hammer, aren't you?
Well, I was alive in 1990. I mean, I was 3, but I was alive.
I can remember I literally had, so when I would get ready for school, I had this little boom box in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And I freaking jammed out to MC Hammer's, I had the cassette tape.
Yeah.
Every morning getting ready for
That's funny.
for school.
That's funny.
I'm sure my mom was ready to kill me.
I'm sure anyone that could hear that was probably ready to kill you after a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also had a 2 Live Crew tape, and I'm not sure how I got that or why I had that,
Yeah.
but
Have
that's
you heard,
a whole other story.
Have you heard Matt McKee talk about having that tape when he was like a teenager and like
The 2 Live Crew?
The 2 Live Crew, because it was one of the first like explicit.
Shall we
lyrics
say
album.
they are not clean?
Yeah. So Matt's got a couple stories about like thinking he was really getting away with something having that tape when he was a teenager.
I'm trying to remember how I even got that or why I had it. Oh, well.
I don't know.
Anyway.
So another concert that I think my sister saw at Great American Ballpark. So former Reds pitcher Bronson Arroyo.
Okay.
Well known for his sort of music career post baseball.
Okay.
So she saw him perform a concert after a game one year. And when we were at that Reds affiliate luncheon, Bronson Arroyo was there.
Oh, really?
And he was talking about like his new album or whatever. And Chris Henry, when they do the Q&A, Total Media's own Chris Henry, a.k.a. Biscuit, looks over at Bronson Arroyo. Why don't you play one of them songs for us? And Bronson Arroyo's like, no one told me to bring my guitar. Oh, why don't you play one of them new songs for us?
Bud. So if you could put a face to Chris Henry and his way of speaking, you know the kid that plays Lurch that was in here the other day? That would be.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
was very
we love
funny.
you, Chris.
Yeah, that was very funny. But a couple of memories I have of Reds games. So you remember at Riverfront Park, the old park?
Yes.
It was also called Synergy Field. That's what it's called when
Forgot
I was a
about that,
kid.
yeah.
So it was a big round building, and every level was a different color, and the highest level was red.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I remember going
I'd
to a
forgotten
game.
about all that, but yeah.
So I remember going to a game against the now non-existent Montreal Expos.
Yes.
When I was a kid.
I have one more story about. Okay, that reminds me. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, so I saw Vladimir Guerrero hit a home run into those red seats, and it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen.
That would be.
Yeah. And then another memory. So this was one of the few Reds road games I've ever gone to. I've gone to a few, but not very many. We went to Pittsburgh, saw the Reds. Or no, sorry, this wasn't a Reds game at all. This was not a Reds game at all. This was a Cubs game. So I wanted to see Sammy Sosa play.
Yeah.
And so we drove to Pittsburgh and saw the Pirates and the Cubs. For some reason I was thinking that was a Reds game, but it wasn't. But more recently we drove, this has still been several years ago now, but we took a family vacation to Chicago and saw a few Reds games at Wrigley Field. That was a really cool experience. We set
Is that where the Green Giant is?
That is in Boston with the Red Sox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dylan's
there
like,
you go, Dylan.
what?
He's like, yeah,
Brought it back
there
around.
are Red Sox.
You brought it back around. No, that is in Boston, not in Chicago.
Okay, and what's
Chicago's
that field
the
called?
Ivy. Fenway Park is
Fenway
in Boston.
Park. That's what you're right. Fenway Park.
Yeah.
Okay. Wrigley Field has Ivy.
Dylan's like sports. Have you ever been to a Reds game, Dylan?
I actually have.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about it other than what you had to eat?
I don't remember what I had to. No, actually, it was one of the little ice cream cups. But I had this glove from it.
Yeah.
Remember the video I did, Salesman Jim, where he was using that glove?
When he says glove, he means a foam pointy finger.
Yeah, the foam finger.
Yeah, I got a foam finger from it. The only thing I remember is just having no idea what was going on and just staring up into the sky, being bored. But I was 5, so. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right on.
I have another story, but I have 2 stories now. They're all coming back to me now.
Coming back to you now?
Yes. And I can't think of the guy's name, so it's not a good story because I can't think of the guy's name. So
Pete Rose.
Okay, I just remembered. Was there an Alberto Alomar or something like that?
He played for the Indians. He never played for the Reds.
Okay. That comes into the story.
Okay.
So 2 stories. First off, when we were in high school, I was in choir.
Okay.
And 2 stories. Story number 1. Stop it, Dylan. He's making fun of me. So our choir director, Mr. Heflin, was a very, very big Reds fan, huge Reds fan. So he arranged us to sing the national anthem at a Reds game.
That's cool.
One time, which is super cool, super, really big privilege. So about a week before we were to, we've been practicing and practicing and practicing. Yeah. He comes in and he goes, "Well, kids, I have good news and bad news." And we were like, "What?" He's like, "Well, we're going to sing the national anthem at the Reds game." We're like, "Oh, yeah, we know." And he was like,
"It's in Cleveland."
No. They're playing the Expos.
Okay.
And we have 1 week to learn the
Oh,
Canadian
yeah, they're
national
singing in
anthem.
French. Oh, just the Canadian. Okay.
So not only did the Jackson High School choir have to sing the American national anthem, we had to sing and had like a week to learn it, the Canadian national anthem.
That's funny.
So it was like, what?
So okay, all right. Let me try to think if I can remember. It's "Oh Canada, our home and native land,
True patriot love in all our sons command. With, I think,
That's pretty good.
glowing hearts we see thee love. Hearts are something
pretty
strong
good.
and true.
Honestly, that's pretty
And
good.
stand by her, oh Canada. Something.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty
forget.
good.
Anyway,
Honestly, that's pretty good that we got that far.
yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
It's kind of like the Gettysburg
I
Address.
don't know if I can get to our national anthem that good.
Right.
Oh, can you throw Rick's comment up there again, Dylan?
What was it?
So Rick's his daughter worked at Great American her senior year in high school, and Adam Dunn, aka the Big Donkey, signed a ball for her when he hit his 343rd
fun.
home run. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so my last story about the Reds game. So 1 year for Jamie's birthday, I surprised him, and I arranged for one of his best friends that he played baseball with from college, who lived in Cleveland, to come to the to meet us in Cincinnati. And I just like put Jamie in the car. I'm like, come on, we're going somewhere. And so we got to Cincinnati, and I was like, we're going to Reds game. And so we went and had a drink at the hotel bar, and then they showed up and just like surprised me. It was like really fun. So we went to the game. So after, we were staying at the Hyatt downtown. So after the game, we went back to the bar and we were having a bite to eat and whatever. Well, Alberto, I think it was
Robbie Alomar.
I think.
Yeah. So his
Roberto Alomar.
Yeah, he went by Robbie. His brother Sandy also played in the major leagues.
Okay.
I think they're both in the Hall of Fame now.
Well, he comes into, now this is Jen not knowing one thing about baseball. And so they're like, and I had bought, because it was my stepdad's birthday, I had bought like a foam finger, and I was just going to be a smart aleck and give it to him. Yeah. So they're like, oh, there's Roberto Alomar. He's in the bar. Yeah. And they're like, go up and talk to him. And of course, you know me. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ask him if he'll sign my foam finger.
Yeah. And he's like, I play for the other team.
So I go, I didn't know. They didn't tell me that.
Well, I mean, in their defense, he was like fairly well known.
I know.
Like I said, I think he's in the Hall of Fame now.
So I walk up to him, I'm like, hi, would you sign my foam finger? And he goes, not that one. And I go, okay. And he just like busted out laughing, and he grabbed it from me and he signed it. Yeah. And then he signed my chest. With a green Sharpie.
Why did you have a green Sharpie?
I don't know where it even came from. So I walked around all night with, yeah, that happened.
It's a pretty good story.
But I did get the foam finger signed by a player that I did not know did not play from the Reds.
But hey, he's a good player.
Yeah. And he was like super nice to me, and like
may have been on the wrong team, but
he just laughed at me basically. He was like, "You're a dumb girl."
Yeah. Who told you to come over here?
And I get back to the table, and Jamie and Bird are just dying laughing at me, and I'm like, I hate you guys right now.
That's funny.
Anyway, there you go.
That's
all my Reds stories.
Anybody else share any Red stories, Dylan, that we missed?
So far, no.
All right. Well, let's hear them.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody can beat Robbie Alomar signing their chest.
No, there's no comments.
With a green Sharpie.
With a green Sharpie. Was it St. Patrick's Day?
I remember now. I asked the bartender if he had something to sign it with, and he handed me a green Sharpie.
Fair enough. He like hands you that little highlighter that they use to check for counterfeit money.
Right. You are not counterfeit.
You're not counterfeit. Yeah.
But hey, while we are here.
Okay. We are here.
We have a cycle search clue.
That's true.
Today's cycle search clue is a dilly.
Ooh.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
But first, we want to thank some of our sponsors. We want to thank Honda, Suzuki, Polaris, Can-Am, and KO of Jackson, and also our friends at Mark Porter Ford here in Jackson and the surrounding areas for sponsoring Cycle Search 2023. Did I do that real good?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. And if you do want to see those two four-wheelers, they are on display out at Honda Suzuki right now, and the other words. And you can just walk in the front door and check them out and see what you can win. Get out there, look for your key packet. So here is the clue for today, day 28 of the Cycle Search. Actually, it's day 29 of the Cycle Search. I screwed that up. And we are in week 6, so we're getting there.
You are.
Okay, so are you ready? Because this one's a good one. Don't look quickly. Be sure to be thorough. No need to keep searching in the home county of Joe Burrow.
Ooh. Dylan, what's Joe Burrow's home county?
Let's find out.
No.
Wait a minute, you don't know?
Who's Joe Burrow?
I have no idea. Isn't he in like baseball or something?
He is in like baseball or something. This is true.
This might be the worst one yet.
I don't know.
What
This
he
is
like?
the worst one yet.
You
Is
think
he
so?
like a really good baseball player from Jackson?
No. He's a really good football player from Athens.
Oh.
He's the
So,
quarterback of the Cincinnati
He's the
Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals.
He's from Athens.
Yep.
So what county would that be, Dylan?
What? Yeah, Dylan. What county is the
What is
city
the
of
home
Athens in?
county of Joe Burrow?
Athens County.
Very good.
This is the worst one yet.
I don't know. Kids these days.
We'll get you learned one of these days, Dylan.
Kids these days.
All right. So, yeah, there you go. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Nick. Thank you so much. Did you hear about this? Obets?
I did. Yeah, I did see this.
The Obets, thank you for reminding me. The Obets, let's put that back up because I can't remember who else is going to be there. The Obets Zucchini Festival this year, which is on the south side of Columbus there, is having Vanilla Ice, Tone Loc, and All for One.
Yeah, I think there is a similar lineup at the state fair too.
Is there?
I think so. Let me look that up.
That would be awesome. Did you hear that? Also, I saw this yesterday. Garth Brooks and Dolly Parton are hosting one of the country award shows, like the CMAs or something.
Garth Brooks and
Dolly Parton.
Dolly?
Well, that'd
Okay.
be fun.
I mean,
That would be
it's
good.
that's not for me, but yeah, if that's your thing, that's great.
Oh, how do you not? I mean, I don't care what kind of music you like. You get Garth Brooks and Dolly Parton together, two giant legends.
When
September
who would
the
be
2nd.
where? Oh, that concert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Must be.
So the state fair is ludicrous.
Yeah. I mean,
Also, see, this sounds like it might be Dylan's speed.
wait, are you sure that wasn't last year?
It says 2023.
Oh, I thought that was last year.
They had Nelly last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Nelly last year. So this might be more Dylan's speed. The Kids Bop Never Stop live tour.
We'll buy you some tickets, Dylan.
I'm good.
You can report live from there. Who else?
Jeff Dunham,
Who's Jeff Dunham?
the comedian with all the puppets.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
a big one.
I was like, that name sounds familiar.
And then Keith Sweat with special guest Genuine.
Yes. My pony. Doesn't that Genuine sing
The
it?
only thing I know about Genuine was that there was a reoccurring guest on Parks and Rec that Donna was cousins with Genuine. That's all I know about Genuine. Also, Third Eye Blind.
Oh.
Young Gravy with BBNO
No.
dollar sign.
With what?
This dude's name is BBNO dollar sign. That is some Gen Z stuff right there. Casting Crows, Sticks with special guest Fog Hat,
Oh, that would be fun.
Tyler Hubbard and Matt Still. Lindsey Sterling with Walk Off the Earth. So that is the concerts at the Ohio State Fair.
Ooh.
A lot of them.
Oh, Boyz II Men was at the Zucchini Festival last year. Man, how did they get such good stuff in Obetz?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I feel like our friend Jess Kelly Adams played in Obetz.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I hope she got to meet Boyz II Men.
I know, right?
Okay, this one can't just be me. I'm not the only one who doesn't know who Young Gravy is.
I
right?
don't know who Young Gravy. I've never.
I don't think anybody under the age of like 17
Look up
knows who
Young Gravy and see who
is.
Young Gravy is.
Young is spelled Y-U-N-G.
Young Gravy. Matthew Raymond is his real name, and he's an American rapper.
He looks like Michael Cera.
He earned recognition when his song Mr. Clean gained traction on SoundCloud.
Good God Almighty. Pass.
What about BBNO $?
Yeah, find out who that is.
BBNO $. Canadian rapper Alexander Leon Gumouchian, known as BBNO $, is a Canadian rapper, singer, and songwriter. He has a best-known single, La La La.
I bet it took a long time to write that one.
Oh, I've actually heard La La La.
There's a lot of words to that song, I'll bet. So,
I bet it's got 47 producers too.
well, okay, truth. How much are tickets and have they sold any?
Tickets are $37. I mean, it's still mostly available, but one section directly in front of the stage is almost sold out.
Almost.
Those are $47.
I would also like to
right
point
in front
out-
of the stage is $113.
Dang. Are there tickets left?
Yeah, there's tickets left in most sections. There's a couple that are not sold out but close to selling out.
I just want to point out he has another song that came out recently called Me 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 Me.
La 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 and Me 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 Me.
And Ida Mami.
All right, so I'm curious.
There you go.
La 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 is a song by American producer Y2K and Canadian rapper BBNO $, released in June 2019 on Columbia Records.
Dang, we can't play any of it because we'll get shut down, won't we?
So this song has 2 writers, neither of which is BBNO $.
So do you think
Or
they
no.
split the laws? Like, hey, I've got
La,
some
la,
great
la,
words.
la.
You
Yeah.
come up with 2. La La.
Yeah,
My 2 words were La La too.
yeah, maybe.
That's why we'll just put it all together, man.
Yeah. So BBNO $'s real name is Alexander Leon Gumouchian.
Yeah.
His name is pronounced Baby No Money. Is how you're supposed to say it. He has reached over 800 million plays on Spotify and is known for his collaborations with Young Gravy,
Oh, I guess that's why they're touring together.
who is from Minnesota.
The one thing I do know about La 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 is that it gained a lot of popularity on TikTok as a song people would overlay with like highlight gaming edits and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, that's the thing.
All right,
like-
we're going to have to pull this stuff up off the air and listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and I'm going to tell Alexa to play Young Gravy, and Jamie's going to be like, what on earth are you doing?
So they are known for marketing their single La 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 online using various websites and apps, namely Tinder. Don't know how you promote your music on Tinder, but apparently that's what he did. Instagram, TikTok, and Craigslist. Not sure how you promote your music on Craigslist and Tinder, but that's what BBNO $sign did. The song was able to peak on over 20 charts worldwide and gain over 400 million streams and 500,000 sales in the United States.
The world is coming to an end. I'm just telling you. When you're promoting your music on Tinder.
I mean, I didn't know Craigslist still existed.
I know it got kind of knocked out by Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. He has a collaboration album with Young Gravy called Baby Gravy and a sequel called Baby Gravy 2.
Shut up.
I mean, it's on Wikipedia. It's got to be true, right? So anyway.
I can't.
It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Get us out of this.
He has a... what is this? He has a degree in ancient Greek studies from the University of British Columbia.
Now you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyway.
So news tomorrow, right?
And the Jackson High School Spring Fling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another spring fling to talk about.
And then next week, hopefully, Ryan Pelletier will be in to talk about why they are going to have Neil McCoy and not BBNO $.
I know.
At the Jackson County Fair.
We are going to really let them have it.
Yeah. Oops. We're going to let them have it.
We're going to let them have it. We want BB no $.
Baby no money.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Have a great day. It's going to be really pretty out there today, so get out and enjoy some sunshine and some good weather before it hits the fan tomorrow and this weekend. So have a great day. Thanks for watching. And go Reds.
Go Reds.
Bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegramnews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegramnews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegramnews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegramnews.com.
Check it out.